I remember that there was this friend I had in school, and she would always tell me that I like those friends who I can visit whenever I want, but they never visit me without my permission. So she used to always say that I would like friends who are available for me when I want them, but when they want me, they have to seek my permission. And if I'm not willing, then they don't invade my privacy. And as a child, I used to find something wrong with that, but I did not quite understand what's wrong with this approach. And as I grew up, I started understanding that, the Kaliyugi sanskar is such that everybody wants a relationship where the other person, the other one, they will fulfill their part of the bargain, but you don't have to show any commitment. Yes? Do you like that kind of a relationship? Of course you do, right? So everybody likes that kind of a relationship, that the other one is always available for you. They are always, they are always there for you, but you need not be there for them. And sometimes, we twist words and we give them meanings based on our sanskars. And one such word is unconditional love. And then people will say that, oh, but love should be unconditional. So unconditional means that it should be there from their side. Whether it is there from here or not doesn't matter. And love is not calculated. So, even if I'm not doing anything in the relationship, why can't they just keep loving me? And this is the kind of argument you give for when you want to, when you are under the sway of that Kaliyugi selfish sanskar. And we do this to God also. So, Baba, until Baba comes, we have this idea of God created by humans, and then we say that God should keep loving humans, and God should do everything for man, but man shouldn't do anything for God. And what does God need anyway? And why should God ask us for anything? Why should God direct us for anything? He is God anyway, so He should just keep, loving us and caring for us and giving us whatever we want. But this whole universe is governed by laws of nature and laws of spirituality. So in this whole universe you have laws, and this universe is precisely governed by these laws. So if you look at the school education, so when we go to school or we go to college, we are taught about the laws of nature. Yes, so we are taught about physics and chemistry and biology and all of that, and that is all laws of the physical world. So we are taught those laws. So you have to learn those laws, you have to educate yourself into those laws. Say for example, if you don't understand the law of gravity, it still exists. Yes, it still exists, and if you don't understand the other laws of physics or of chemistry or of biology, they still exist. So, Baba says that this, but then the education in the world is very limited. It is not unlimited. So, then there is another aspect to these laws, which is the laws of spirituality. And until Baba comes, nobody tells us about the laws of spirituality. And then in the laws of spirituality, today I will talk about these two laws. One is the law of reciprocity, and another law is the law of karma. So, first thing is law of reciprocity. So, there is nothing like unconditional love. So, there is the law of reciprocity, and you must respond to somebody doing something for you. And it is like, you can't take without giving. You have to know that there is a give and take, and you have to reciprocate. Reciprocity is not optional. Reciprocating is not optional, it is mandatory. And Baba says that when I come and surrender to you, when I come and behave like the father, you have to behave like the child. You have to reciprocate. Yes, so it's not like it has to be written in some law book or somebody has to tell you, but if the father behaves like the father, you have to behave like the child. And today Baba in the Murli uses a very good expression, real children. And Baba says something very interesting. Baba says that he is the father and you are real children, and the father surely has to help the real children. Yes, so it's not like as a just like an idea that because everybody is Baba's child, so Baba must help everybody. No, the child must also behave like the child. And Baba says, who are real children? So Baba says that the real children are those who serve with their bodies, minds, and wealth. And the father's duty is to serve you. So Baba says, my duty is to serve you because I am your father. But your duty is also to serve your brotherhood, your friend, your spiritual family. Your duty is also to serve humanity with your body, mind, and wealth. And Baba says that if I have come to create heaven from hell, then it is your duty also to be my right hand by surrendering your body, mind, and wealth. And Baba says, in the world also, people say that it is mandatory for a child to fulfill the parents' wishes. Yes, but these days, we don't talk about these things too much because every soul is vicious. So maybe their wishes are coming from a very uninformed place. They are coming from vices. And if you engage in this law, then maybe you will suffer because the parents have vicious wishes these days. So they want to trap you in lust and greed, and if you are an enlightened soul, you know that that's not what you should do and that's not spiritually right. So that's why we don't talk about this law that fulfilling the wishes of Lokik parents is important. But Baba says, I'm not flawed, I'm not vicious. I'm your Parlokik father. I am the, I am the purifier, I'm the bestower, I am the highest on high. So it is mandatory that when I come and adopt you and I fulfill my part of the relationship and I sustain you and nurture you and what do you say, hone you, then you children also must surrender yourself completely to me and my Srimad. So this is something that we need to understand very well. And the law of reciprocity is not optional, it is mandatory. And Baba says, I'm bound to take care of you, I'm bound to serve you only when you also, reciprocate by surrendering your body, mind, and wealth. And if you don't fulfill your part of the bargain, then how can I serve you? Yes, and then along with this law of reciprocity is the law of karma. What is the law of karma? That if you don't do anything, you don't get anything. And if you don't do anything right, you don't get anything right. Yes, so you have to do something to get something. So Baba says it is also important that if you want to be in a world where your body, mind and wealth give you happiness, then you have to surrender your body, your mind and wealth to the ocean of happiness, so that you can do the karma that Baba directs you to do to create happiness of body, mind and wealth. So this is also the law of karma. And Baba says, if you, in the world they say, if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. So you must surrender your body, mind and wealth. And let me ask myself, am I a real child? Have I surrendered my body, mind and wealth? And how do you surrender? You write it off to the center or to Madhuban? No, that's not how you surrender. You surrender by knowing that you have to use every single thought of your mind, every penny of your wealth and everything of your body on Baba's Srimad. That is what you call surrendering by body, mind and wealth. And I was yesterday thinking that, so there are 4 aspects of surrender if you ask me. There is body, mind, wealth and relationships. Yes, so if you look at wealth, ask yourself, have you surrendered your wealth? Do you use the money you earn not out of the feeling that I earned it, it is my money, but do you use every penny based on Srimad? And Srimad tells you that you use money to settle karmic accounts, to create sukarma by using it in seva, and for self growth, spiritual growth. Yes, so if you are making a Baba Kamra by investing your money, even if it's in your own home, that's done for self progress. So that's good use of money. Yes, or you're using it in the seva, you're sending it for the center's seva, or you are asking the Didi to send it to Madhuban and giving it So all that is seva, money used for seva, or you're using it to settle karmic accounts. Let's say there is a little child and you're spending it on on his education. So of course, if you don't spend on his education, he will become a burden for you tomorrow. So your karmic account will increase. So spending on children's education, spending on raising them in a manner in which they become independent tomorrow. So that's settling of karmic account. Or there is an illness and you're taking medication for it, then obviously you are using it purposefully. So that is settling karmic account. So that's how you spend your money. And also, while earning money, so when you have surrendered your wealth to Baba, then your means of how you earn the money should also be based on Srimad. Yes, your money shouldn't come from killing and loot. Yes, so that's not Srimad. And that it's very important. The source of money has a big bearing on your karma. So when you're earning money, you earn it in a way that it doesn't create vikarma. You are not earning money out of greed, or you're not earning money in a manner that is creating that has blood on your hands, or that is pushing people into lust or some other thing. So Baba says, always check your karma while you're earning money and while you're spending money. So if it is based on Srimad, and Srimad says there are only 3 ways to spend your money: settling karmic account, for spiritual growth, and for seva. So let me ask myself, have I surrendered my wealth? And then the second thing is relationships. So Baba always says that surrender your relationships to Baba. Surrender your relationship means you know that you are a trustee, and every soul around you is Baba's child. So you fulfill your duties towards them, but you don't take ownership of their karmic journey. You don't worry, you don't cry, crib, you don't fret, frown. You behave like a trustee. So Baba says, but have you surrendered your relationship? Because sometimes I see that children don't understand this properly, and sometimes they will just neglect their relationships because they have some vice working within them, and then they will say that God tells us to be a trustee, so I'm not concerned about them anymore. But you are neglecting them because you are lazy, or because you are not willing to do something for them, or you are not willing to make that effort. So Baba says, no, you have to take care of the relationships and know what is your duty and what is not your duty. Says, so what is your duty and what is not your duty? So let's see, let me give you little examples. So there is this Mata, and his son is around 17 years old, and so she wants to she was asking what's her duty. So I said, giving him food 3 times a day is your duty. So he's studying, he's going to school and college. Cooking food and giving him is your duty. But if he comes So that's there. Now there is another son, and he's working. He's 23 years old and he's working in an MNC. So she cooks for him also, but he returns from his job at 12 in the night. And then this Mata keeps awake until 12, and then she is not able to do Amrit Vela. So then we told her that cooking the food, keeping it ready is your duty, but waking up until 12 and making sure he eats hot food, that's not your duty. So he is grown up enough to help himself and reheat the food and eat it and sleep quietly, because that's his timing. But you are allowed to, maintain your timetable and do Amrit Vela every day. Then there's another Mata, and his son is so she is working and his son wants to be a bodybuilder, and he is just 16 years of age, and he says that I want to be a bodybuilder and you have to give me money to buy all that stuff which you eat and drink so that you become a bodybuilder. So those shakes and those powders and whatever they are selling these days, and that is pretty costly. So he is demanding that he should get 10,000 every month so that he can buy those stuff. And he says that you are the mother and you are earning, so why would you not fund me? So then that Mata said that my son is asking this. So I said, do you think that's your duty? So educating him, feeding him is your duty. But then if he is 16 and he has these aspirations, then you ask him to wait until he is in a capacity to earn and let him become whatever he wants to become with his own money. So buy all those shakes and powders and whatever he wants, but and again whether those are healthy or not is another question, but let's not go into that also. But why do you have to fund that for that boy? So this is something that we need to understand. What is my duty and what is not my duty? So one thing is, don't neglect. So if there is an elderly and they want to visit your place, then you don't tell them that it is not your parents' responsibility to fulfill your dreams. No, it's not. Your parents' responsibility is to make you eligible, yes, by ensuring you have a good brain, good body, and you have the spiritual strength to pursue your dreams. It is your dream, you fulfill it. Yes, so that's very important to understand. So it is not the parents' responsibility to fulfill the dream of the child. The parents' responsibility is to create an able child who can fulfill his own dreams. Yes, so that this is very important to understand, and these are very important matters, because I will tell you about two legal cases. So there is this one son who filed a case against his parents who were not willing to give him their property, and he said that it is my right and you have to give me your property. And the court said, no, it's not your right. So you have to understand that this is one scenario where the child is demanding the property of the parent, and of course the parent has seen something because of which they are not willing to give the property, and that child is going to court to ask for the property. And then there is another case where parents filed a case against the child, where the child is living in the premises of the parent and the child is not giving food to the parent. So, the parents are not being fed by the child, and the child is he's living in the premises of the parents, so it's their house. And then the court had to direct that it is your duty to prepare food and give to your parents. So I'm telling about these cases because these are things that we need to understand. Some things are our responsibility, and if you don't fulfill them, it creates pap karma. And some things are never our responsibility, and if you go into that, then also it becomes pap karma. So let's say you have a child who is growing up and studying, and you don't give them the right environment. Now let's say we are talking about food and clothing and education, but what about not giving him the right environment? So what about parents fighting all the time before the child and not giving them the peace and the environment to study, or not even giving them the environment where they feel safe to study? So these are responsibilities, creating an environment of purity and peace and giving them the the strength, because when you are creating a knowledgeful, pure, peaceful environment, then the children are drawing the strength from that environment, and then giving them the education and the food. That's your responsibility. But after they grow up, that's not your responsibility. Then they can fend for themselves. Now let's say you live together with the children also. Then it's your duty to contribute to the household, so you cook the food. But it's not like your child comes at 12 and you keep waiting for him because he cannot reheat the food and eat himself. Why? He is 24, 25. Why can't he reheat the food? And why the mother who is 50 years old can get up and reheat the food? Who says that? So this is something that we need to understand. And this is why Baba says that you have to know what is your responsibility, what is not your responsibility. You have parents, then parents who are old need to be taken care of medically and physically and spiritually. So creating the right environment for old parents, giving them proper food, making sure they are comfortable, and making sure that they have all the medicines they need. This is also responsibility. But giving into their desires, they want you to have a baby, they want you to leave this job and take another job, they want you to be in this place and not in that place. All this is you cannot anyways fulfill anybody's desires, can you? Desires are like a blind well. You keep trying to fill it, but it never gets filled. So you must first learn to distinguish between needs and desires. And desires are not your area, but needs are your area. And what are the needs of souls around you in different ages? You must understand that. And I will give you one very simple example. There was this one lady, and she told me that my mother-in-law doesn't eat these days, and she's 80. So I asked the mother-in-law, and she said that I don't have teeth, so I need soft rice. rice which is almost soft enough like khichdi, and I need that. But the rice they cook is very, it's half cooked, like they like it that way. So I'm not able to chew that. So I've stopped eating. And then I told that lady that this is the problem. And then she said, oh, I don't understand, why can't she? That rice is soft only, na? So I said, no, if she's saying it's not soft enough, you can just boil a little extra rice and give it to her, na? What's the big deal? Yes, you can boil it well and give it to her. What's the big deal in that? So, these are very little things which we need to understand. And Baba says that needs and greed, they have to be separated. Feeding somebody's greed is pap. Giving somebody ideas that they can exploit you is also pap. For feeding somebody's desires is also pap. But not taking care of needs is also pap. So how you use your wealth is creating karma, and you have to be very careful in deciding where and how you're using your wealth. And Baba says, again, this is about just settlement of karma and not adding to your karmic burden. But apart from that, creating good karma out of your wealth by investing it in seva and by using it for spiritual progress. So, if you have the wealth and you don't buy a smartphone for Zoom, so you have to connect to class, but you are not willing to buy a smartphone because you don't want to spend it. That's not the logic. Having that's good use of your wealth. So Baba says that these are things that you have, but you buy a smartphone and then you are not attending the class and you're watching other stuff. That's also not okay. So you have to be very wise in discerning and deciding where and how you're using your wealth. And seva is not optional. Seva is mandatory, because I told you about the law of reciprocity. So Baba says, I have come for you and you have to use your body, mind and wealth for my seva also. And that is not optional. And in other cases, you have to be very wise and judicious in the use of wealth. Then mind. Your mind creates thoughts and feelings. Yes, so are all my thoughts and feelings within the boundaries of Srimat? So, do I create thoughts of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed? Because thoughts are my own creation. And if I am using my mind to create these thoughts, then I am overstepping the line of Srimat. And then I am in trouble, because then I am not fulfilling my part of the bargain, which is surrendering my body, mind and wealth. Yes, so relationships, mind, wealth, and then there's body. And from my personal experience, I know that the most difficult for someone would be wealth, for someone would be surrendering relationships, for someone it would be surrendering the mind, and for someone it would be surrendering the body. And what is surrendering the body? Surrendering the body means you use every what do you say, I don't know what's the unit of measurement of energy, but every ounce of energy you use for Baba's seva. And do you know that this body also is a big grihast. So, many souls, I've seen Brahmin souls also, just spending their time and energy in doing what your senses are asking you to do. So, some are sleeping 10 hours a day. Yes, some are just watching stuff. Some are just being lazy. Some are just pampering themselves in the beauty parlor. Some are just pampering themselves in the gym. So Baba says, what is your energy for? Your energy is not for using it on manmat. Yes, so if you're sleeping in Amrit Vela, then you have not surrendered your body. Yes, so you have to use your body on the lines of Shrimat. Wherever you are supposed to be physically, you have to be there according to Shrimat. So Baba wants me to get up at Amrit Vela and sit before him, then the body must be there sitting before Baba in Amrit Vela. And this body needs to be, don't give in to your the pull of laziness that your body has, and just use it for seva. Do sthul seva through the body. So, and whenever there is an opportunity to share gyan, don't say, I don't feel like speaking, I want to be silent. No. What is the mouth for? For sharing gyan. What is the eyes for? For giving drishti. So make good use of the body. The body is given to me as an asset by Baba, and let me surrender my body, mind, wealth and relationships and use it on Baba's Shrimat. And if you don't do anything, you don't get anything, and you cannot have Baba's love and seva without being a sevadhari yourself. So the law of reciprocity and the law of karma have to be kept in mind, and it's not like relationship with Baba is one-sided. It has to be from both sides. Okay, Om Shanti.